to Locitude podcast. My name is Ade Balogo. And once again, I'm coloring hair so you can hear all of the gloves on Elizabeth's hair. Today, I have allergies, and I also have with me Elizabeth.
Yeah.
Elizabeth is a long-time customer. This is actually quite special because right now we are sitting in Ashburn, Virginia.
Yeah.
But when we met, it was in Lagos, Nigeria. In Dolphin Ikoyi.
Yeah.
That was where we met. So, Elizabeth, before I take all the words from you, can you tell us a little bit about yourself and how we met?
Oh, okay. How did we meet again? Oh yeah, I have this. I got tired of all the hair crisis I was experiencing. All these admired locks. So I said, and I had this friend Nancy who has a very beautiful, very long flowing locks. So I said, hey Nancy, who did your locks for you? And she said, oh, there's this lady called Ade. She has a salon called Locitude. It's in Ikoyi. And of course, I was living in Ikeja then, so it was quite a long commute. I said, I better go. I don't think they go Ikoyi. I hate crossing the... You know,
I don't do bridges.
I don't do bridges. It's like you, babes. Say, I don't do bridges. Me too. Because from the mainland, I said, I don't do bridges. But I said, okay, let me do it, right? She said, oh, if you go there, your life will never remain the same again. So I went there and I went to your salon. And yeah, you were able to. It's about 8 years now. So we met, I think it was May 8th or 9th. I can't remember. I know first week. And now it's
8 years later.
8 years. So I'm still here. 8 years. Exactly 8 years. You're still the one doing my hair. So I really appreciate that.
No, I appreciate you to come in to look for me when you moved to America.
Yeah, and Nancy told me about. So I went there and you did my hair. You started my locks for me. And of course, your other
stylist
continued. And okay, Nancy, of course, I'm in advertising. Nancy is also a friend and an industry colleague as well. She's also in advertising. So, and I've done marketing for a very long time. It's over 12 years now, I think. 12 plus years. Yeah, and why am I even here in the first place? Of course, I came to America. You know how people are always talking about America like it's best thing after sliced bread?
Mm-hmm. Is it?
Well, I don't know about that too.
Like we were saying before we started the podcast, that America is the perfect marketing.
American are branding, man. But America is an amazing place. You know, the thing with America is, it's a nice place. I mean, it's the West. It's like any other Western countries, right? They have facilities that most of some countries back in Africa don't have. Some of the things will kill for. They have it here. They waste. They throw it for streets. And unlike a lot of people think, well, you don't have dollars on the streets of America. They have bills. Everything about this country is, you know, when Beyonce sang with you pay my bills, you pay my telephone bills, you pay my automobile bills. Now I understand. I relate that. I didn't relate that because America is expensive. But it's an amazing. They say America is where dreams happen, right?
But you are living in one of the more expensive states in America.
Maybe that's
in the middle of DC. So
yeah, maybe it's since I've not left the DMV. I was in New York recently and a couple of months ago. But yeah, people say DC is quite expensive compared to other states. So I'm guessing maybe there's that too. But it just feels very sane. DC feels quite sane to me. It almost feels a bit like Abuja. I don't know, I may be wrong. Maybe because compared to New York, which is like Lagos. You know, everybody's like crazy. You know, New York is it's when New York feels it's a little but when you say it's not dirty, but compared to DC, it's dirtier.
So what do you mean it's not dirty? I think New York is filthy.
No, so if you use Lagos, you know, everything in Lagos is like the benchmark.
Depends on the perspective.
Yeah, depends on the view.
It's cleaner than but
DC is like compared to New York is quite dirty. There's trash on the streets. People are almost always in a hurry. You know, the thing with New York for me, New York feels like Lagos. It's just that Lagos is way more populated. Mm-hmm. Or like I'll say that New York feels like a more Western version of Lagos.
Yeah, but I call
a
Lagos
more Western
baby
advanced. Yes, it's a more advanced. Imagine Lagos with light all the time. Imagine Lagos with good roads.
And Abuja is baby DC.
Exactly. That's just it. DC feels warm. DC feels calm. DC, I mean, again,
You have
sometimes
that city vibe without necessarily the hustle and bustle of a city.
And if you want to have you want to relax, there's some parts of, you can always travel out of DC, but DC feels like a nice place to live in. In fact, I have professors that said they've lived in New York, but they ran. They actually prefer this place, and I see why.
I can imagine.
Yeah, of course, New York has a lot of culture and all of that. You have all the cinema, you have all the theaters, performing arts, and all of that. But and then New York what's the word? Wall Street is there. Mm-hmm. New York is like commercial and economics nerve center of America, which I'm sure other states. There are some other states like that too. But yeah, but I like DC. The schools here too. I mean, there are so many schools here. There are so many schools. I attend American University, which I think one of the reasons why I came here is because of a friend of mine, a colleague of mine, a former colleague of mine. We kind of influenced. It's not the only reason, but why I chose the school, because he also attended the school. So we were like, hey, how is the school? Oh, it's fine, Sha. And it's very white. It's a very white school.
So it's a predominantly white institute.
Yeah, so it's like the opposite of Howard.
Yeah.
Howard is a very black school, American University white. But I still came, and it's actually, they have a nice alumni network amongst other things. So I decided to go there, and it's actually been interesting.
Okay, so you came for your master's program.
Yes, I'm doing a master in marketing.
And congratulations, because you're graduating in June.
Yeah.
So what we're doing right now is actually graduation here.
In fact, the actual graduation ceremony is next week Friday.
So even though graduation here,
my course ends in June, end of June, which is weird because in Nigeria,
you can't graduate if you don't finish.
But they don't trust that you pass that one course that is left. No, that's just a joke. But so it feels a little weird. I'm glad, but even though I'm technically not done, I'll still be going for classes. But so that's
And so far so good. So your program was 1 year?
Yeah, it's 1 year.
And have you enjoyed the education system so far compared to... Had you schooled anywhere else before coming to America?
Well, yeah, in Nigeria, University of Ibadan.
When I said anywhere else, I was referring to anywhere else.
No, yeah, but well, of course.
Don't let us get into Ibadan, the Unilag and UI fights.
No. We can't get there because UI is... Don't go there. Like commercial business center.
Don't go there. Your hair is in my hands.
See, when we have fights with OAU.
Look at you.
UI fight is with OAU. It's not with Unilag. Unilag should just go and maybe fight with Covenant University or something.
Okay. Well, because you are in the chair, I will just let you say what you want to say. But it might not be true. Not everything you are hearing is agreed by Locitude or the opinion of Locitude.
Speech is free, right?
But anyway, so I was asking, compared to Nigeria, how has the education itself been? Is it easier or worse? Do you have a better relationship with your lecturers? And would you say the quality of what you have learned is better than what you generally receive back home? Because you also have a master's degree from Nigeria, right?
Yeah. I think the way I've always seen America is also part of how they teach. America really oversimplifies everything. Like, see, for instance, now how I grew up knowing autumn, but Americans will call it fall, because that's when leaves literally fall. Okay? And so I'm starting with that as an example. Or how, what else they'll say trash, bin. Now I'm looking for other examples. Fall and autumn, they are perfect examples. So for me, it is the difference between, they simplify. I think the difference is that they oversimplify it. They make it simpler.
So there's no reason for you to fail.
Of course, there could be other reasons. People fail because of other reasons, right? Not necessarily because they understood something. Same thing happens in Nigeria. So a lot of times when some people don't pass certain courses, it's not necessarily because they are dumb or they did not understand it, right? So there are other psychological factors. There are all these other things behind the scenes that we really don't see. for instance, like I know someone that went through a lot during the first semester, even in this school, and it affected her grades, not necessarily because she's dumb.
Okay.
Right. So that's what I'm saying. There are all these other factors as well. But the thing here is that the lecturers are really easy, or they call them, professors. Jeez. I know. So sometimes I don't know which one is a true professor.
I actually think it's kind of upside down here. That you get to professor, for instance, before you actually even get a PhD. So while...
Really?
Yes.
No. The way I think... I don't... Sorry, people... Because my understanding is that the way we say lecturer, that's how they say professor.
Doctorate is like the highest thing. So you could be a lecturer, you become a doctor, then you now become a professor. Like the
that's like the highest. That's the highest.
Professor in Nigeria.
Yes.
And I might be saying this very loosely, but over here, it feels like you become a professor first before you actually even get to a doctorate. That's why all your lecturers are professors. Because all your lecturers have doctorate degrees?
Almost all of them.
Okay. I don't know.
But isn't doctorate PhD?
Yes.
But PhD is something you can start at any time. It's like Nigeria as well.
Yes. So, but I'm saying that in Nigeria, oftentimes people they have their PhD, they practice before they become...
They spend like 35 years.
Before you become a professor. Over here, it feels
it's just
like the
title.
opposite, that you get professor and then, you could... it's kind of like everybody's a professor.
Yeah, so a professor is just like lecturer. The way we say lecturer, that's how they say professor. Because I still call them lecturer sometimes. I have to remember that, we're in America now, and then we call them professor. So I think they are more approachable.
Okay.
I think it's part of their job. Because I was discovering someone that, when I just go, these people are so nice. Someone said, it's their job. Somebody said, they have to be, it's their job. It's just like how here everything is written. Yeah. Like when you go somewhere, maybe you call a bank customer care, and then the next second, rate my service. It's kind of like how they do here, and it matters a lot here. So I think it's part of that service thing is a big deal here.
And does it improve the quality of the education?
It does, because they are way more approachable. They don't, how that's, nobody, how some lecturers back home, they say it with so much pride, nobody gets an A in my course. Like, I feel here, nobody scores an A in your course. Maybe that's an indictment on you. In fact, there was a class 2 weeks ago, I met a guy, he said his class, I think, is it MBA class? No, not MBA. Everybody failed the exam. So they had to redo it all over again. Like, if everybody fails your exam, it's either
you didn't teach them well.
You didn't teach them well, or you know what we call ekwensu. Which devil? I think because so maybe something went wrong. I don't know. You know how sometimes what they teach you and what comes out in the exam, they're not exactly the same thing. Maybe there's that as well. But what I'm just saying is that I feel they are more approachable. They tend to be more empathetic. Yeah.
Okay.
Again, so it all boils down to service. It's unlike, so I think it's really, that service mindset.
There's
I think
a
a lot
culture
of
like servant leadership within so they are there to serve you.
Yes, they are there. I think you're paying a lot of money. So I think they have more, the difference is I think they have more service mindset. They are easily more approachable and they are empathetic. You know that, the student, I'm the lecturer thing, right? That hierarchy. They don't put it, it's never really in your face. And the way they relate to their professors, they're like, Again, back to how Americans are really they really simplify everything. I think there's that relationship between them. I see way more, rapport, let me put it like that, between them and their students. So they make it, so it's easier to learn that way. And they really, so sometimes when they teach us some things, I'm like, God, did they teach? Do people know this thing on the graduate level? Again, this, like I said, they really simplify things, and sometimes they even handhold you. But there are some courses of data-driven marketing. God, I don't believe I just mentioned the courses. The way some of them are, again, so that's it. The way people think, and again, people are wrong about, it's not you don't use one brush to just paint all of them. They're all different. The way back home, you had some very nice lecturer. Like, in fact, as far sometimes, you know what I say sometimes? Sometimes I had this discussion with some of my colleagues. I think most of my lecturers back home, that's what I said, especially at the beginning of the course, that if I'm really comparing some of my lecturers back home to some of these people, I'll rate some of them back home higher. It's just that the circumstances are different. These people have access to technology. They have access to a lot of things people back home don't have access to. Stitching conditions are better. So back to that Nigerian problem. That's why they say if things were different, all those anyhowness you see back home will stop. Because I had like some of them, some of them, like, see this one, they teach yourself. Just like back home, they are the good ones. They are the very nice, friendly ones. They are the ones that are like straight arrows. It's the same thing. Just like how human beings are different everywhere. It's the same. But again, the difference is that they are way more empathetic because their job calls for it. Here, America, everybody has rights. Again, students have more rights here.
I see. Just keep it your
Yes, for me. I think students have more rights here. You can't just say you threaten to you can't threaten to fail
the class.
I'm sure you will be summoned the next day.
Okay, but in terms of the course content itself, when you think about it,
do
you feel more empowered after doing this master's degree compared to what you received back home?
When you say what I received back home in terms of
because you did
the
get
course,
so in terms of the course content itself, right? So do you feel like you could walk into an organization post your master's and be more? Did you gain so much more from this foreign degree master's? And I'm asking this question. Let me give some more context to why I'm asking the question. Okay. You know how back home you're working in an organization, somebody comes with any foreign degree, they are automatically treated better and more than people that have local content. So my question is, now that you also have a foreign degree, do you feel like it actually is a defining a benchmark are you more solid when it comes to marketing than if you had done it in Nigeria?
Okay, there's a very interesting question because, funny that I never really, even though this has been an issue, I never really thought of this before. I think it boils down to, I know that thing where everywhere that comes, you're in America, America is like the marketing capital of the world. America has, when it comes to branding, America is number one, right? So it feels like the best place to study the course. I think it really boils down to your area of specialization. Because, for instance, again, of course, I have quite a number of experience in marketing, and especially because I've been on the creative side. I was in advertising, copywriter, became a creative director, and then I said, okay, let me come to America because I wanted to learn more strategy because I was always on the creative side. Of course, strategy makes you a better creative and storyteller. So I decided to come here. But if you ask me, I think it boils down to the courses. Some schools have some critical courses that, even if you're in marketing, I'm in marketing, but there are some other schools that offer courses my school doesn't offer. And there are some schools, for instance, one of the most important courses I think I'm taking now, weird enough, is something called Race in Marketplace. Because I'm coming from Nigeria, I don't know what race means. Of course, I know what race means, but when people talk about race, I'm always like, is that thing, right? But now I'm here, and I think I have a better understanding. I know race, even though we don't have racism back home, we have issues of colorism. And it's a serious, I'm tribal, but colorism is almost like a subset of racism because it stems from racism. So it's something we really experience a lot, but most people don't think about that. Because colorism is a thing, even back home. Even though now people are saying, melanin popping. So it's getting better now, but we still have that issue. But back to what I'm saying, that Race in the Marketplace, American University is one of the very few schools who offer that course. If I say that is probably a marketing for social change, maybe because these are things I never really knew before, right? I never really understood before, but I have a better understanding of it now. But beyond that, I think when it comes to things like strategy and marketing for social change, again, like I said, depends on the courses. Some schools are very big on digital marketing. Some schools offer courses on digital marketing that say an American university will not offer. Some schools offer. So again, I think it depends on the field that you're focusing on.
Some schools are better off offering some courses.
Certain courses. So it's not the same, even if it's the same course. Yes. So I think so that also empowers you. But that, if you ask me, people I know, other people, maybe again, because I have some experience in my field, especially the field which is still the field I still want to brand storytelling, brand integrated brand communication. That's still the thing I'm doing because I have better knowledge of strategy now. But if you say maybe someone that just out of school, right? Maybe someone that also probably that did undergraduate programming in the same school and just coming out of it and goes to Nigeria and wants to take a job I do not agree that person is better off.
Okay.
I don't think so. I think it's brand. It still boils down to branding. They just have more confidence. They are taught to be way more confident. The average American. So it's a cultural. You know that use body, speak. So it's a culture. I mean, God bless you. You can't get accent. Good. That is it. So I do not believe that having an American edge coming. I don't seriously. Again, maybe because I did. Even though I did theater arts. Oh, sorry, Mike. Even though I did theater arts, but I took courses in communication and language art, and of course, communication and language art in UI is kind of like marketing.
Okay.
But I feel, to be honest, again, back to curriculum, but there are certain aspects of their curriculum which some things they offer that our schools probably don't offer. Again, depends on the school itself. Because I believe that marketing is not the same in all Nigerian schools.
Right, I get you.
So there's that thing. But I think generally, yeah, exactly. For instance, I don't know if a Convos offers it, or if I know many schools offer marketing, and I do not think they teach the same thing. So I think digital marketing is becoming a thing now. So more schools will probably be teaching digital marketing. More schools will probably be teaching things on data. More schools. So I think, but generally, I do not sincerely believe that, or if you do marketing here, that you are way, way, way more knowledgeable in the field. And again, remember, it's also
by any chance,
yeah,
you carry your American university marketing degree back to Nigeria.
Yeah.
Would you want to command more than your peer who has the same experience but probably had a marketing degree, a marketing master's from a Nigerian university?
Would I want to command more?
Yeah, in terms of
pay?
Your pay, yes.
Let's start with my school fees.
The school fees is not the same, so you deserve to earn more.
The school fees is not the same. But see, even though I said that but to be honest, again, remember what I said about curriculum? Because to be honest with you, there are some things, if I'm really being honest with myself, there are people, for instance, let me say strategists. There are some strategists I know that have worked in marketing for a while. Some of the students here, there are core things about strategy. For instance, writing a strategy document. Some students, I've seen better strategy, and I'm not just like, so even though I said, yeah, sometimes it's not that the people here are better off, it's just branding. But to be honest, if I'm really being honest with myself, I'm using that as an example. When I noticed this, I was like, wow. I saw a strategy document that was written by undergraduates in marketing that are better than strategy documents that strategists back home have written.
Okay.
So I think, again, how they also teach them matters.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I think they are very, what's the word? What's filming now? There are certain aspects of it that they must know, because theirs is very practical based.
Yeah.
Theirs, a lot of things. This one from first grade, they are doing science projects.
Yeah.
Those, I think so. I think maybe that's the culture here too in education. I don't know.
It's more practical.
Yes.
You think about it a different way as opposed to probably that passing.
Yeah, you have to. So they really do the work.
Okay.
And it's not just see the biggest difference between our education system and theirs. They are everything about them. You know how WAEC would say, list 5, what are the 5 advantages of capitalism? Theirs here, everything's about, they will give you real life scenarios. They'll give you case studies. And they'll ask you, how would you approach these things? that is the difference I feel. That's the difference between Nigerian education and theirs. Even right from time, they'll say, oh, somebody even said this in that their WAEC, I don't know, WAEC system, when it comes to memory, ask me to define one by one scholar, I will not be able to do it. You know how 3 different scholars will say 3 different, maybe that was one of the reasons I was not getting those things, but I can't. But here, they don't really do that thing. They'll ask you more from a more practical lens. So that's why they can approach things sometimes better than some of us, because everything is almost always, you're not just regurgitating definitions. You're actually looking at things from a more practical lens. And here they are very big on software. You have to learn in Tableau. This one is not as if, when you, for instance, go back home, let me use your school. Unilag. How many, our course, marketing, you are learning Tableau. You are learning R. These are all all these things now. How many times will a marketing lecturer or professor in Unilag ask you to use this thing to approach problems? So they are very big on software here. It is very, in fact, if you come here, you must know at least 2 or 3. Even if what you are studying has absolutely nothing to do. They are finance people or people...
Well, which makes a lot of sense, because we are way into the 21st century.
Exactly.
And everything is technology dependent.
So they are very
and any jobs you get
you have to know those things. Okay. So I think that's more... They are more from... Look at this more from a more practical lens. We will just... I'm not saying that this is what happens all the time, but that's what I noticed. I know it's probably changing, but that's one difference with them. But I don't think they are better. I don't think they have the technology, and they're a bit more patient and more empathetic in their educational system.
Okay, fantastic. So around August last year, you moved?
Yeah, I came here in
How
August.
was it settling in, finding an apartment, finding your way around? Oh. Was it your first time in America, or had you been to America before?
America, yes, I actually been to America like a couple of times in my dreams, but this was the actual, this was the very first time. This is the very first time I get to America in a real 3-dimensional world. So yeah, where it's not black and white.
Nobody should wake us up right now, because if we're dreaming, this would not be it.
Welcome to America. And of course, I always remember my plane ride. Guess what I watched?
Coming to America.
That's what most people I know, that's what they watch, Coming to America. It was quite poetic for me watching the film. So I'm coming here, my first impression was, so this is, this book by this renowned scholar, oh my God, it's called America the America.
I haven't read that.
God. I don't believe it. I can't remember.
I can look
Jamie
for
Clark. I think it's Jamie Clark. He's, that way he felt, so this is the America safe. So that.
So there was that sort of expression in the book?
Yeah, the guy. Yeah? No, I'm just saying that was the guy who had this thing about like I beg you, whatever. That was his. Of course, he's a scholar. I came here, so that's how I felt. Maybe because if you travel to other parts of the world before, and then when you come, like, so this is America. Okay, it's not like I see pounds and dollars on the streets of America. But America is but when I got to the airport, it looked.
Where did you land?
It was just Dallas.
Okay.
It's here, just
Dallas
here.
Is a
like
nice,
the next stop.
Dallas is a nice airport. I actually like Dallas.
Okay. But let me not lie. Kenya Airport is finer than Dallas.
I've been to Kenya Airport, but I don't really have any memories.
Yeah, the chairs are nicer. See, let me tell you something. America is hype. I had this, some of my colleagues, so we're talking about customer experiences. Yeah. Service market is an amazing course. One of the best courses for me this semester. It made me more aware. I'm just going somewhere with this. So
service marketing.
Service marketing. So I did courses on service marketing. Hold on.
Before we continue to deep dive, I provide this service, right?
Yeah, sure.
So, okay. I'm just saying. Okay, go ahead.
So I mentioned that because in that class, they were asking about different experiences of people. And this lady said, I think she's Taiwanese. And she said, oh my gosh, that American services, you know how the Asian, again, this is not me generalizing or stereotyping, but in fact, I'm even watching a series called Shogun right now. They're so big on honor and duty, and sometimes I feel, maybe my next life I should be Asian. Like, Nigeria is too much. So maybe I'll be. But point I'm trying to make, she said their hostesses are finer. The food is better. All these other things. Way better than, but America is America. Everybody wants to phone, just watch an American film for like a week or come here or become an artist automatically it just enters your gene. They don't have the rest of them for
But
now.
what's happening to us now? I don't think I can hear the American accent as we are talking like this. Where is our own phone there?
No,
Me and you.
see, that's the thing. For me, I said, I know a guy called Charles. I don't know if you ever knew Charles B. He was sharing life issues.
Yes.
Charles B lived in America for over 25 years. Charles B will never ever talk like an American. My idol, my sister, Chimamanda.
Uh-huh.
Chimamanda has been here how long?
I don't know.
For me, Chimamanda is just that way. If I could, the way she speaks, I feel that's someone that is very educated, someone that is very enlightened, someone that knows herself, that is very proud of herself, proud of who she is, proud of where she's from, is Chimamanda. And that's how she will always talk. Chimamanda talks, that is, she will, and again,
so you have no intention to change your accent, but you know.
Do you know what I want to do? I always just want, no, for me, never.
No, when I say there's influence, I feel that from my own personal experience, there are some words that help you communicate better with the people that you work with and you interact with on a day-to-day basis.
Okay.
So it's not like you are changing your accent, but you might start to get American influences in some words on how you pronounce them. Or for instance, if you hear a word for the very first time and an American said the word to you, you've never heard that word being pronounced before. The likelihood, or the only way you know how to pronounce it would probably be with the American accent. So I don't think I have lost my accent. I know that I sound like a Nigerian, but I think sometimes without even thinking about it, instead of saying water, I would say water. Because if I go out and I say water, I'm probably going to get, excuse me, what'd you say? Or like, what? And over time, I'll always say water because that's what I've said all my life. But over time, I catch myself rolling my R's at the end of sentences, and I realize that it's an American influence, and it's your brain automatically allowing you to be understood as opposed to you trying to misplace your identity.
Okay, interesting. I like what you said, but the way I look at it is, I understand those of us who grew up in Nigeria, I understand because in Nigeria, we grew up watching a lot of American TV, and we grew up watching a lot of British television, right? In fact, for me, it was more of British television. British series, British comedy, and some American series, and maybe cartoons much later. So I understand that. It's just that, let me ask you a question. Do you think a British person will come here and sound American? I don't know any British person.
If they stay here long enough, they might start to pick up some words. That's what I'm saying.
Okay. I'm just trying to get, because for us, we're easily, maybe because for English is not our first language.
I get
so because English is not our first language for most of us. Pidgin is the first language for most of us. So like me, because I really can't speak my language bad. Yeah, I know. A bit. I have a smattering knowledge of it. And I'm from Delta. So we love Pidgin a lot.
Yeah. I'm half Delta as well. And we've actually done a podcast on the Locitude podcast in Pidgin English.
Oh my gosh, I missed that. That would have been nice, even though my Pidgin is... Forget all this forming... I speak about it's bad. Anyway, that's message straight from there. But what I was saying is, maybe because we're a bit more vulnerable when it comes to that. English is not our first language. We grew up watching... Like, for instance, now sometimes we are coming... Is it waste basket? Is it trash? Is it bin? It is... Sometimes it gets confusing. So there are all these different words they use here. One. But I feel what I try to do as much as, and what I told myself is, the way Nigerians speak, our phonetics is a little weird sometimes. I think we have a very lax, we take phonetics loosely. We approach it loosely. Anyhowness, sometimes as the spirit leads.
We don't.
But it also, and it stems from our background and the kind of education we had.
And your mother tongue. Because the way you speak English when you live in Lagos is probably different from how you speak it if you live in Abuja.
Yeah, yes. So the mother tongue is very key. But if you look at, I have a lot of Ghanaian. Nigerians will kill me for this when I say this, but let me say this.
Should we stop the podcast?
No. I have a lot of Ghanaian. It was even a Ghanaian that made that observation, because I was working with a liaison. It was kind of like a liaison. It was my office for a while, and remember we had a lot of Ghanaian English teachers growing up. I don't know if you experienced them. They were in Lagos. There was a time they were in Lagos when Lagos was still fairly good. And a lot of them left. So Nigerians take more linguistic liberties. They also, remember they have their accent. Don't like that they're hey. And they think they are speaking proper English. Hey, what is hey? Right? Listen to how a British person doesn't say hey. An American doesn't say hey. So why are people saying hey? So maybe it's the accent, right? That's what I would say. Sister. What's his sister? It is funny. But what I'm trying to say is, Nigerians take more linguistic liberties than Ghanaians. They have the accent too. But on the average, again, I don't have the facts, I don't have data, but I'm just saying from what I've noticed, especially the way we pronounce vowels, I think it boils down to the humble beginnings we had and the kind of English teachers we had. Though children nowadays, their phonetics is better, if you notice.
The ones that are going to expensive schools.
Yes, or decent schools. So they teach them phonetics. They never really taught us phonetics. And that affects how we pronounce words. So a lot of times when we are saying something, they are probably hearing something and they say, why are you saying? They're confused. Or they are not sure what you're saying.
Yes, so to be understood, you will adjust.
So no, that's the thing. Because speaking proper phonetics, like observing proper phonetic symbols or sounds is different from an American accent. Because I feel if a Chimamanda,
I agree.
Nobody will ask Chimamanda to repeat what she's saying. I'm using that as an example.
Is more like a British accent. And the funny thing is that in the time...
Not exactly.
Wait, hold on 1 second.
Yes.
Because British also have different types of accents.
Yes.
A Cockney accent is different from a Scottish accent.
No, I'm using Central London accent, which is like standard English.
I've never been to England, so I don't even think
I have
the opportunity
the royalty speak, or BBC. But that's Central.
Here's the point I'm trying to make, right? I've moved 3 years now, and a lot of people ask me if I'm British with the way when I speak to them. And as far as I'm concerned, I'm like, what are you hearing? Because I'm speaking Nigerian. I am speaking Nigerian English. What are you hearing, British? But it's because I would say schedule instead of schedule. So all of those nuances, I'm just speaking how I've always learned how to speak. Yes. And when they hear it, that's the British pronunciation. Yes. So there's an inkling to ask, oh, are you British? And I'm like, yeah, how? From where to where? But yes, we have all these influences. And I think between our tribal languages, our mother tongue, our British I can't say the word, colonialization, word, and... American influence in media all around the world, the Nigerian accent itself has probably evolved. And yes, true. And it's very complex. Nigerians who come here who intentionally decide to switch it up.
Whatever works for you.
They switch it up. And there's people who come, and I think that it's inevitable. If I live here for 7 more years and I go back home, there will be some words I will inevitably pronounce as an American without even thinking about it. But on the flip side, we're also speaking about this issue from a Nigerian accent, from a Nigerian perspective, because when you take an American to Nigeria, the average Nigerian on the street doesn't understand what you're saying. So
and you ask why?
No, but the thing is, if that American decides to stay in Nigeria, they would have to slow down their pace. They would have to start to pronounce some words like in Nigeria, because that's where you are. So I think it's natural for you to pick up this influence.
This conversation I've had with a lot. For me, just what I think about this issue is that it's about clarity. If people speak, that's what I'm saying. I'm taking it back to you said what you said is very right about how it's very complex because there's a whole lot of accents out that so many things come into play, right? But if you try to speak as clear, and I think it's how Nigerians speak, the average Nigerian puts stress on the second syllable.
Yeah, that's what they teach us now.
Exactly. No, we had bad teachers. I think we had a lot of bad teachers. So, for instance, if we would say something like,
you know what? I actually don't want to agree with you.
No. If you want to just to round this thing up, I think a lot of us are not. Maybe back. That's what I'm saying. This thing about the way we speak, it goes back to our basic phonetic understanding.
I can agree with that, but I refuse to agree with you that we have bad teachers because you see, as Nigerians,
I didn't say generally.
Okay, all
no,
right.
I didn't say generally. No, when I say but, I'm talking about English. Because English is what, when you are talking about clarity of, I think it's really about clarity. A lot of us don't know the difference between the vowel sounds.
Well, let it go.
And that's why I'm taking it back. See, that's why see the way them go on. See the way how people spoke in the 70s.
Let's bring it back to
and
AI.
back to
now
let me quickly round that up.
Okay.
I just feel what I'm just saying is that Americans will understand you if what you're saying is clear. I know that they still you observe different sounds, vowel sounds. I think sometimes it's not very clear what you're saying. That is why they cannot. It's not the Nigerian accent. Nigerian accents will come into play.
I actually think Americans are sometimes not clear at all.
America.
So
remember what I said about how
maybe they don't need to understand me. Maybe they need to learn how to speak English.
No. Remember what I said. No, I will not sit talk and then say, and what you say. I'm just saying, I don't have to speak like an American for them to understand me. I'm just saying that if I speak as clearly as possible, I'm using the right, again, if you put in this using wrong stress, people can be confused what you're saying because sometimes it means something else. So
yeah,
if you're observing...
Okay, you know what? We've actually had this argument for a very long time,
yes.
but which is the same thing. My name is Ade.
No, they are very
When
lazy.
I say that in Nigeria, everybody understands, pronouncing properly, I'm being called Addy, Aid, Ade, all sorts of things. So I think it's actually kind of unfair to just blame it on the Nigerian not speaking clearly.
No. I don't know if I'm not saying the right thing. No, I'm just saying a lot of times we take linguistic liberty, and that stems from how we pronounce our understanding of sometimes, especially vowels.
Okay.
Americans are lazy when it comes to pronunciation. I know. Remember, they can't pronounce Lagos.
Americans, I'm sorry, we've generalized this
true.
podcast a lot.
It's true. They can't say Lagos. It's always Lagos. How does Lagos sound like Lagos? They can't pronounce our names better.
But you know that.
You know why? You know why all this is stemmed from? It's the American mindset of thinking.
I disagree.
No. I think the average American feels they don't have to learn anything about the world. The world has to learn everything about them.
Here's the thing, right? In English, you have 5 vowels: A, E, I, O, U.
But it's longer than that. Those are just the basic ones.
You have A, E, I, O, O, U. So when you are speaking to a Yoruba person, I'm not even generalizing across Nigeria now, and you see I, there are different ways to pronounce it. When you see E, it can be E, it can be E, it can be, so it's not, I can't blame an American for saying Lagos and pronouncing it La, because that's how. So until you are able to coach them through it to say there's a different way we pronounce this A, it's all different. And
they have different A sounds. It's not 5.
Elizabeth,
that A has different sounds. You know that, right?
Elizabeth, hold on 1 second.
Yeah.
You know, the interesting thing about this conversation is that Lagos is a borrowed name from the Portuguese.
Yes.
And I don't even know how the Portuguese actually pronounce Lagos.
Lagos is a foreign
So I have
word.
no idea how the Portuguese. So it's interesting that we're having a conversation about the pronunciation of a word that doesn't even belong to
but
us.
we know it
by people.
But technically, it's just like jollof rice is not stemmed from Nigeria, but jollof rice is ours, right? Sierra Leoneans or whatever. I'm sorry, but Americans are very lazy when it comes to... This is what I think the average American feels, right? The whole America is superpower. America is world power. It's been like that for a very time. I'm not saying all of them, but a lot of them feel that way. Many people, and because of who they are, their position, people want to learn about it. Nigerians follow the American election. Nigerians follow.
Oh, but no, I'm just giving you. Afrobeat.
No, get me. No, understand what I'm trying to say. This point I'm trying to make is the world knows so much about America. America doesn't know so much about the world. Nigerians follow their news, their entertainment. They are world power when it comes to a lot of this. Point I'm trying to make is that 1 minute, are you telling me that you're a broadcaster, you're a journalist, and you cannot say Lagos?
But here's the thing, right?
They know
America,
it is Lagos. It is
America
just that,
equally
whatever.
has
Because why can't you say Lagos?
Millions of people different time zones, different accents. People
not
from
an
the South
excuse.
are usually made fun of how they speak here in DMV. Two of my clients were in the salon the other day, and one person spoke out. Someone was like, "Oh my God, you've got a New York accent."
Yeah,
and I was
different.
like,
even though I don't know the
even me, I
difference.
was like, "What's the difference?"
Don't know. I don't know the
both
difference.
of you sound exactly alike to me. You just sound American, and so the same way we see each other, and you can differentiate between an Igbo, Yoruba, Hausa person, and some of the other minority tribes, is how complex and different it is in America. And if you think about it, if you just think about it, the whole of Nigeria is on one time zone. If you live in a country where you can fly through multiple time zones, you can spend a lifetime traveling the 50 states
what
here.
What does that have to do with them saying Lagos?
Being more exposed?
No. I feel somebody. Even I know someone that. Oh, please don't. That's me. I'm an American.
I'm going to drop this conversation now.
No. For that, let me finish. I think seriously, the thing about names, again, because we are very passionate about America and the West, and we know we consume a lot of things from them. That is why we are very highly influenced by. That's why the average person has a funny accent, even though you've never been to the airport before, and it is fine. But what I'm trying to say is that Lagos thing annoys me all the time. Because I do not believe that it's because they have a sound. Okay, if I say, okay, let's use music to define it. Say Lagos, middle. I don't know if that's the right turning software in music. So if you say middle, Lagos. Yeah, they'll get it. The next minute, Lagos. Oh my God.
Elizabeth has been by far my most interesting guest so far. I have enjoyed this argument, but now let's talk about DC. I know you said you love DC so much.
I love DC.
But it is no news to anybody who lives in America that the crime rate in DC is rising.
I went somewhere. I went to eat jollof rice last week. They told me, the problem with me, I said, America can take care of it. I'm still following news from Nigeria every day. But I'm not really, and that's the weird thing about me. I'm the person that listens to the news every time. But I'm not really, I think I need to remember that I'm not in America and start reading the news. Okay, I say once in a week, I catch up with Jon Stewart is the only person I follow. So I listen to Jon Stewart all the time. So I just hear, weekly. But I know I should be doing that.
Tonight, right?
And the Daily Show. He's back on the Daily Show. The guy that
the Daily Show,
replaced and now is now back.
I was thinking about John Oliver. So I watched John Oliver on the Last Week Tonight.
Okay,
I actually like his coverage of
John
different issues
satire
across
and
the
his
world.
use of humor. So I'm a type. It's kind of like you say, what kind of person am I? Oh, I'm the Jon Stewart type. I'm the South Park type. I'm the Tyrion type. I'm the Chandler Bing type. The kind of characters that the people I like. So yeah, I love satire and humor a lot. So the thing about crime, I understand that. The guy told me that some people were killed, that they were shooting. Did he say there was killing or shooting? I'm like, Jesus, in DC here? I said, I didn't know. And let me tell you one very interesting about Washington. I never knew that there was another Washington, a place called Washington State.
Seattle.
I learned that, when I got here. I thought it was just Washington, D.C.
You see yourself.
Am I from here?
So that's how the American will be telling you, why should I be able to pronounce Lagos? Am I from there?
See, no. It is different. See, I mean, there were lots of words that I understand how hard it is. When their media keeps saying they are very lazy media, yes, I'll say that because it is your job. Like that lady said, if that girl in The Orange is the New Black, that character, that Igbo, she's the orange. I think
I know the person, but I don't know.
And then she was complaining about, I think she was telling her mom that, her people can't pronounce her name. And I think her mom said, if they can pronounce Czechoslovakia, they should be able to pronounce your name. So I think so there's that, right? And so, Americans will say, Ivan. Someone will say their name is Yvonne. They don't have E in America, Abby. Americans will call that thing Ivan. Iraq is Iraq. And I'm like, what is it with these people? So seriously.
We're leaving that conversation.
I will tell you my name is You see, it is America. So we don't have 5 hours. We have close to 12. I think the traditional ones are 5. Do you know how many sounds there are many sounds that are in A? The A sound. There are many.
We've left this accent conversation.
Okay, let's leave it.
Yeah. So you said you have kind of been around the DMV and been to New York so far.
Yeah.
Have you been to any other American states?
No, those are just the DMV and New York. But
So
I
in the
plan to move
DMV,
around.
would you do you have a preference of where you like to stay, DC, Maryland, or Virginia?
Maybe because I have a soft spot because I've been. But I've heard. I'm gonna visit Mount Vernon very soon. You know
Okay.
the place where George Washington's house. It's a
Okay.
beautiful tourist attraction. So
Where
I'm
is
gonna go
it?
there. It's somewhere in Virginia.
Okay.
It's in Virginia here. So I think that's his house. That's where he stayed. So
Okay.
yeah, Virginia is very. I think they say technically this is not even a state. It's just a district, right? It's called the District of
Okay,
Columbia.
so-
they don't even have a governor. You know, they don't have.
It's
they don't-
Abuja now.
Thank you. It's kind of like Abuja. So I think there's a whole lot of history in Virginia. I think this is where America started, right?
I don't
Technically,
know.
if you remember whenever I'm trying to remember, I always remember the Pocahontas story when Captain John Smith and all those people landed. I think it was in Virginia.
I have no idea. When I want to become an American citizen, I would know.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think America really started here because I think that's where they landed.
But Virginia is a huge state though, because there's
It's
some
very
parts
big.
of Virginia that are 3 hours from where we are now. That it's easier for you to get to DC or even Maryland from here. So we are
here it's
in
big.
Northern Virginia. And people kind of argue where the DMV starts and stop. Because you have
Is there a dividing
DC,
line?
which is the District of Columbia.
Yeah.
Yes, there is. So
I really know.
the metro
Yeah.
actually is the DC metro. So the parts of Maryland and Virginia that the DC metro gets to are part of the DMV, which means you can potentially walk in DC and leave anywhere on those lines on the metro. Although some people have attacked me and said that Ashburn is not part of the DMV because we're kind of farther from DC.
Okay,
But-
it's like an hour.
yeah, so it depends. It depends on what parts you're going to and where you're coming from. But usually the DMV is not all of Maryland or all of Virginia.
So it's just the parts that are along
Around-
the lines.
Yes.
The metro.
Oh yeah, the parts that are close to
The
DC.
metro. So this is
particularly.
technically DMV.
Yes, this is DMV.
Okay, this is DMV.
Technically. Some
because
people
it's close to-
and this stop I think is new. So they just recently expanded the Silver Line to get to Ashburn, like
where was
less
it
than
before?
5 years. I don't know. Oh, I just got here.
Maybe the airport, Dulles.
I think that's also new.
What?
I think that, yeah.
How would people come in? You know, that's the difference. You can be on just stay on the train forever and it's just going and it takes you everywhere.
So it's new. So the people who've been here for a very long time are not used to these parts being parts of the DMV, but we're technically the DMV. Northern Virginia, technically pretty much the DMV. So do you miss Nigeria?
Kai. I went because of that. I went last week to eat jollof rice. And then she was like, "You want pop puff?" I said, "I call it pop puff." They say it's pop puff. I say, "I know. I call it pop puff."
Who said it's puff puff? It's puff
I
puff
don't
now.
know. I grew up calling it pop puff.
Why should you call it puff puff?
I
It's
said puff puff is stressful.
It's puff
If I
puff.
know I'm speaking
And
English,
moi
I'm
moi.
speaking English.
And
It's moi
dodo.
moi. Yeah, so I went there because they are family friends. When I got here, I realized that when we were in school together, when you are together, and that's why sometimes you let people know where you are now. People say you're showing up. It's not just about showing up. I'm a very private person, right? So I just posted a picture. And he saw it. He was like, "Oh my God, you're in Washington." He said this in Maryland. I said, "Oh my God, we're so close." So it became, imagine someone from, one of the best things that can happen to you, seeing a familiar face.
Yep.
Oh my God,
Yep.
being a stranger in a strange land.
Yep,
is a
I'm always very
horrible
happy
thing.
to see
Yes.
Nigerians I knew in Nigeria when I
Thank you. We went to school together, and I was so excited. So I went to his house, and his wife made all this. Oh my God, pepper soup, goat meat, squawk puff. Oh my, gave me cooler of rice to take. I said, I'm shameless, so I mean, give me everything. And I just to get everything home. So yeah, I miss our food more than anything. God, I miss the food. I don't miss the madness because there's madness everywhere. If you think about it.
Yep.
In fact, sometimes the one here is another
It's another level.
You know those people now. It's another level. But I miss our food more than anything. The pepperless food. There's no seasoning. There are taste buds.
You're not what year in America yet,
I'm not when I'm close to a year now.
Yeah,
Like
don't
almost
worry.
a year.
When you get to year 2, then you start, your perspective will start to change.
Never.
You sound exactly like I did in my first
No
year. I used to
way.
complain about everything. The food is not fooding.
No, when
the
it comes to
are
the
not
food,
peopling.
it has never been food. It will never food. Because, my mom lives in London. She's been there for God knows how long. My mom still eats food that, in fact, she eats more like a Nigerian than many people in Nigeria. Go see her freezer. It is banga, it is this, it is that. It is, so I can, when it comes to food, and because you know what they say about the standard American diet, like it's literally sad, like SAD, standard American diet. It is, now this is not me hating on this country. America is a beautiful country. Please let's get that clear. America is an amazing place. It's just that their food, man. Oh my gosh. So I cook, what I'm saying is I cook most of my food.
Okay.
I know, because I'm very particular about what I eat.
It helps you save money as well, because eating out is expensive. It's super expensive.
There's so many advantages to eating out. You're in control of what you eat. Right?
In my first year, dollar was still been like $1 to like $4.60 or thereabouts.
Oh my gosh.
And then you just come and you go to District Taco and they tell you 3 tacos for $9.99, and I'm like, 4,600
just like that,
just to eat 3 tacos like this, and then they'll put tax on top. I was like, Okpari, what is wrong with this? This is going to feed 3 people.
I swear to you, yesterday I went to take passport pictures. You know what you charge for 2 passports? $16. I said, for what? Something
I used to converse
No, I don't do that. That's the worst thing you can do to yourself as in Nigeria. So what I'm saying is, so when you save a lot of money, I really don't eat that. Because you know what? Let's go and say, I'm going to eat tasteless food. I went to this Mexican, I've been to I'm like, it's nice, but let me not lie. Our food is doing better. Again, the thing is so it's more about experiencing the place, right? They say if you really want to, if you say you've lived in the place, you must have eaten their food. That's how you really know you've lived in the place. But let me not lie. I've eaten Ethiopian, I've eaten Mexican.
Ethiopian is not bad.
It's close to our food.
Ethiopian is not bad.
They had this thing that was similar to semo. It's flat. It was like swallow. I can't remember what they called it.
Injera. I think.
I don't know. And then they have this soup. Because when I went, like, what do you have that is close? They say we have this.
Ethiopian food is nice. It's actually really
like. Ours is better. No, it's nice. It's close to our. We are always.
I like when they do the platter. You have different vegetables.
I had that. It was actually them like they were in school and it was nice. Well, it was pretty nice.
And I was asked that the first time I had Ethiopia here, someone asked me, haven't you had Ethiopian food in Nigeria? I said, where?
No, we don't. What you see here is Chinese.
Yes. Chinese, Indian.
And some Indian.
Chinese, Indian.
Chinese is everywhere.
Well, I was like, I said,
no,
where? I was like, I've never thought about it. I was like, just Chinese, Indian, maybe some sushi if you want to, but where are you going to get Ethiopian
because
food
America is, everybody's here now, so everywhere, different races, different nationalities. That's why
DMV is very diverse.
It's extremely diverse. Yeah, you see also, that's the advantage. That's the advantage this place has, which is. So I miss our food more than. If you ask me, the one thing we miss the most is our food.
It's going to be food, traffic, NEPA.
Well, I don't
Ughoro.
Man, oh god, you know the Ughoro and the traffic thing, they go hand in hand. It's NEPA. Let me tell you a story. So I worked with a lot of art directors, and we had a project in school, an assignment, and I needed one of them to help me art direct, or use what people call it graphic artist, to do some of the execute visually one of the projects. So the guy told me, you would have done it too, but there's been no light since morning. And I'm like, it felt strange when he said it. Like, what do you mean, no light? So he couldn't do it because there was no light. Of course, this is me being a Nigerian, knowing. But sometimes that reality you forget about some of these things when you come here and you stay. Even again, I said in Jerry, right? And we're always having, right, Keja Jerry, and we had light most of the time. But most places
disconnected from the reality.
Yeah, but I still know that. I mean, my office, we didn't have that constant, like we always use Jen. But that was it just hits me that, oh my gosh, is it that you've forgotten? There are things you should, Jenny from the blog, there are things you should never forget. But that light issue, oh my God, because there were times we didn't have lights too. And it was a crazy, that light issue in Nigeria, oh my God, it's a trauma that we just have to live with every time. Whether you're on band, whatever bad. I know the weird thing. Where I'm staying now, the amounts, the price has almost what is it times 3? What's
tripled?
That? Tripled, more than tripled. So if I was still there, that's the amount I would
affordable.
That time, the thing. Over time, it kept going up. No, of course. Electricity bill, let's just know, that's another conversation about subsidy. Yeah. It's always, we are paying way less than we should be paying. That's the truth.
But for me, I'd rather have the power because I'm still buying petrol
that
or
is
diesel.
not available.
Yeah, I'm still buying petrol or diesel. So when
Yeah.
you look at your full power cost at the end of the month, I'm happy to actually give you everything and just give you 24 hours power.
People will pay for light if it's available.
Okay.
That's the truth.
We are coming up on the hour. Actually, we are on the hour, but there was one last thing I wanted to ask you about before we go. And I've actually enjoyed this conversation. It has felt like a debate.
Yeah, a lot.
Meow. How have you found making friends?
Oh man, here. Sometimes it's really hard. In fact, the first time I got here, I was so overwhelmed. And your class, there are different, so that's in my class, there are different races because they're international. I mean, it's a graduate program that you find
it's an international program.
You have like half of the class, over half of the class are Americans, most of them are white, and then you also have my friends from Ghana. We have a lot of, we had 3 Ghanaians there. There was me, I was the only Nigerian. That's the weird thing because in other departments like finance and MBA, Nigerians are there.
So you're the
but
only
my
one.
own kids, I'm like, why? So I'm the only Nigerian in the class, and there's some Asians, there's some white girls, and some guys, of course. Guys are always more easily approachable. I don't know. Like I said, I'm coming back in my next slide, I'm coming back as a guy. I keep saying it all the time, and I know why. So, but making friends with some of them, it wasn't always, to be honest, it wasn't easy making friends. And you know how you are who you are. And me, like I said, me coming to America, it's not going to change who I am. So what you should always aspire to be is a better person and understand people more. But I say because of the kind of person I am, and you know what you call attitude. Every Nigerian understands what some people, they give you attitude, because, right? Yeah. Some of us experienced some of that. I experienced some. To be honest, there was a time, maybe because I was having a lot of drama from back home or whatever, some other issues. So it was really hard for me at that point in time. But I've made it very interesting. I've met very nice friends. Some of them are my classmates. And some of them, one of the best friends I've met since I got is a Ghanaian.
Okay.
It's an amazing, I don't know how I would have gotten...
Don't want that you're saying that they know how to speak better English than us.
No. This one is even a rascal.
I'm just joking.
This guy is a rascal. But do you know one thing I learned about Ghanaians? Oh my God. Ghanaians use hands to eat rice. I say, Jesus Christ. So rice is technically swallowed in Ghana. I did not know.
But that's actually quite interesting that you bring that up because the other day I was working late at a salon and I ordered food on DoorDash. I didn't put cutleries in my food. Okay. So I was working, it was late. So there was only one other person around and she happened to be from Ivory Coast. So I was like, oh, sorry, do you have cutlery, plastic fork or knife or even the metal one? I'll return it later. And she looked at me and she was like, use your hand.
Wait, was it swallow or finger food?
Salad.
Hey God. It is so weird because he was telling me that in Ghana, there is that wache, that is hand they use. Yeah. And I'm like, in Nigeria, people say you're forming, you're using hands to eat swallow. I came back to the Locitude
Studio, I washed my hand and I mixed my salad cream inside and I ate it. It was okay. I was hungry. The food went down like it should have.
Our swallow is hand. We know. People use cutlery. Yeah, sometimes they're in certain places and washing your hand is stressful. You can't even wash your hands. So
the problem.
But the culture
is that you grew up in Lagos. That's you yourself too. You've been westernized. The western part of Nigeria has westernized you.
But even my village, we use spoon to eat rice. Good. It's not about Lagos.
People are spoiled.
It's so called Delta State. We use spoon to eat rice. It is Ozi starch. Because that's their food, right? Yeah. Or Gary. It's starch you used to use. So Ghanaians, technically rice and beans is swallowed to them. Just saying. Okay. These are interesting. But I made friends and I'm thankful. I don't know how I would have gotten this far without some of the amazing friends I've made.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Anyway, thank you so much for answering my call. I know this was a very impromptu call to be part of the podcast today. But this has been fun so far. I'm sure your hair has overly colored. And for those of you who have stayed with us till this point, sorry about all the noise at the beginning of the podcast with the coloring activities going on. But I've enjoyed having this conversation and it's been nice. It feels like a conversation that we would have had in Locitude Studio in Lagos.
Yes, exactly.
All right. Thank you so much, everyone. You have been listening to the Locitude Talking Locks podcast.
Yeah.
with Locitude.
Yep.
My name is still Ade Balogun. My guest today was Elizabeth. Can you pronounce your last name?
Elizabeth Ughoro.
Ughoro. I don't want to whether. My guest has been Elizabeth Ughoro, and you can find us wherever you listen to your podcast. We recently uploaded on YouTube podcast as well. So YouTube now has a podcast. Yes. So if you find Locitude on YouTube, you will find all our episodes. Elizabeth should be about the 47th or 48th episodes so far.
Check it out.
So I think that's it, and keep it locked with an attitude.
Yeah,
Bye.
I like that. Nice tagline.
Yeah, marketing.
Nice. Yeah, marketing. That's my job, man. Yeah, it's very nice.